Hello everybody and welcome to a new Lost Ark video. In today's video we're gonna have a look how difficulty it's the riding in Lost Ark. And in order to understand better that, we're gonna have a look at Saint video. If you don't know who is Saint, it's like a Wikipedia for Lost Ark. He knows a lot of things about Lost Ark. He's playing the game for a long time, and I think he can help me understand uh, how difficult is the riding in Lost Ark. So I'm gonna leave also the link down below if you wanna check it yourself. So that being said, let's start.
Hey everybody, today I'm breaking down what an endgame encounter is like in Lost Ark Korea currently. The fight we're looking at is the 5th gateway of the Legion Commander Abelshut's raid. This weekly raid is split into 6 different boss encounters with checkpoints to stop and save the lockout after completing the 2nd and 4th boss encounters. You can reform and pick up where you left off with the same party members or switch it up with replacements if they're also at the same checkpoint. Loot's also received at each checkpoint in equal proportions, so if you complete phase 2, you'll earn 33% of the potential materials for crafting the new set. Phase 4 nets you 66% and phase 6 gets you 100%. Gateway 5 pits you against the Queen of Nightmares.
Okay, so from what I'm understanding until now, you have like how it's in World of Warcraft, the phases of the boss, but it's like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. But after you completing phase 1, you can lock it and you can start again next time from there. Okay.
Herself, Abelshut. He has 23 billion HP in this encounter, evenly split into 200 individual lines of HP. This helps us more easily identify when certain gimmick mechanics will occur at. He has a total of 31 different patterns that can be used in any random order between major HP thresholds, but we'll just be covering the major gimmicks though to keep this video concise. At 180 lines of health, the first major gimmick happens. All 8 players are given a black or white shape. There are 4 shapes, so 2 people will get the same shape, 1 in black and 1 in white. At periodic intervals, shapes will be summoned while you're DPSing Abelshut that will float across the screen. You must collect a certain number of shapes depending on which shape you were assigned at the start of the mechanic. Circles have to collect 2, squares have to collect 4, hexagons 6, and star 8. If you collect the wrong color shape, it's considered -1. There will also be patterns that are needles that travel across the screen, homing in on a player for a few seconds before traveling in a straight line. That if you're hit by it, it's a 50% chance it's either a black or a white shape, so it could help or set you back. The other mechanic are long line telegraphs across the entire map that if you're hit, do the same thing as a needle. There's 2 variations of that, one that also summons a needle which travels in the same direction at a high speed. You have to lower Abelshut to 140 lines of health while collecting the correct number of shapes for every player. It's common to have the correct number of stacks of your shape, only to get screwed over by the last summoning of shapes. Needles and line telegraphs and around 145 lines. If any of the 8 players has an incorrect number of stacks when entering the 140 line gimmick, it's a guaranteed raid wipe and you have to start over. At 140 lines, Abelshut either has a circle or a cross shape underneath her. This helps us determine where we need to stack with the other player to safely place a symbol on the ground for the next pattern.
Okay, I'm just stopping the video a little bit. Yeah, until now there are a lot of mechanics, and seems that the thing is that from what I'm understanding, the conception is like if someone is doing a mistake, you can literally wipe all the rides. So yeah, so I think in order to do this you need people to be on Discord and yeah, to speak with each other. So it's not like we're gonna open the looking for group and do this.
Before we stack, we have to dodge line laser telegraphs twice, with the second one giving us about a second afterwards to converge with the other player. If done successful, all 4 players will place a symbol in 4 sections of the map evenly spaced from each other. Abelshut proceeds to shift the map, and one of the 8 players has to guide a certain shaped meteor into the corresponding symbol placed in the previous mechanic. Failing to do that wipes the raid. While doing this, players have to dodge a lot of large AoE telegraphs, the red scary ones that are one-shots. The expanding black hole also has to be avoided, and if it touches another one of the symbols, then it wipes the raid, which is why they had to be placed equidistant apart from one another. If everyone's successful at placing all 4 meteors, then you proceed to the next phase, which is a burn from 140 lines to 110 lines. At 110 lines, Albershad ports to the center and a short intermission plays. 2 large spheres are summoned into the map, and there's also glyphs on the ground which light up that tell us what to do in this mechanic. They indicate the order in which the 3 major targets have to be neutralized with fatigue damage from our spells. Doing this out of order wipes the raid, and taking too long also wipes the raid. At the same time, illusions of Albershad can spawn in up to 6 positions, 3 above and 3 below. It's random. Every illusion that gets summoned has to be countered within a second of it appearing. Failing to do so silences the entire party, which screws up the neutralization, and also the illusion blows up and does like 50% of your health. If all the illusions are successfully countered and the 3 main targets are neutralized in the correct order, then you move on to the next phase. The next phase, the 2 orbs that were just neutralized create portals that lead to a different cube mini-boss in a separate area. To pass the gimmick, one player has to collect 12 white orb buffs in the right portal, and then in the left side portal, 4 players have to collect 3 gold orbs each. The 12 white orb player is probably going to have to be a support because the white orbs inflict the DOT, a stacking damage over time debuff on you as you collect each orb. At least one player has to stay outside to deal with Albershad, or else she immediately casts.
So what I want to understand, because I'm literally not understanding very well this, and maybe someone will help me down below in the comments. Like all the mechanics that he is explaining right now, there are mechanics from phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, or there are mechanics just from this phase. If someone can help me just by leaving a comment down below, I will be very, very happy. Because if this is just from this phase, this is insane.
A raid wipe if there's no one in the area with her. Not collecting the right number of orbs also incurs a raid wipe in the next gimmick. And also the player that stays outside fighting her dies, she also kills the raid. During the battle with the cubes, there's also needles and line telegraphs that can reduce the number of orbs you've collected. Needles drop you to 0 stacks in the left one, and in the right side room, line telegraphs reduce the amount of stacks you've got by 1. Once the cubes are defeated, you gotta exit within like 2 or 3 seconds or else it kills you. After all players have exited, Albershad begins the next pattern, which reminds a lot of people of Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. She'll summon a huge ball of energy, and you have to break an HP shield on her. Afterwards, lines of light protrudes from 8 different positions. You have to maneuver into the lines of light to avoid being silenced, as there's a neutralization check that has to be cleared. You also have to remember where each of these lines of light are, because at the end of this pattern, after the neutralization check has been succeeded, 5 different safe spots emerge, only one of which is correct to stand in. The safe one is the one that if you remember where all the lines of light emerge from Albershad in the previous pattern, it'll form that shape. If players successfully neutralize the boss, stand in the correct safe spot, and have the correct amount of orb buffs on 5 players, they'll survive the raid wipe that follows afterwards. After lowering the boss from 110 lines to 90 lines, players are once again assigned shapes from, well, it's the same thing as the 180 line gimmick. You have to once again collect the correct amount of shapes by the time you reach 50 lines, while also avoiding a lot more dangerous patterns that begin to emerge at around this point. At 50 lines, you have to once again converge with the other player that has the same shape as you to place the symbols on the ground, but instead of line telegraphs, everyone has to kite 4 meteor drops. You have about 1 second after the last meteor drop to stand within proximity of the corresponding shape to place the symbol. Hopefully at this point everyone has survived and was able to place their symbol to prevent the last 8-player gimmick. As after you successfully guide these meteors into the correct symbol, it's a burn of the last 50 lines to 0 HP against a torrent of even more deadly attacks. If you've managed to claim victory at this point though, pat yourself on the back, because that was the door phase and the easy part. She takes the battle up in space, and the real battle against the real boss begins at that point.
Wait, what?
Real boss begins.
Forgot to mention that they later add 1 difficulty mode above this. More difficult than this. That's insane. Whoa.
At that point. Hey everybody, today I'm breaking down what an endgame.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, like this from a first look it's quite crazy, it's insane, and it's difficult. The thing that like I wanna really understand is these all mechanics that I saw right now, there are just from this phase, like from phase 5, or there are from all the phases together. in this phase, and after this phase you have another phase with other mechanics and stuff like that. Because if each phase has this another mechanics and you need to learn like on each phase other mechanics, and is this difficult, it is insane, man. Like it's, I don't think it's something that everybody can do, or yeah. um it's it's crazy. It's really crazy. And if this is not difficult, I don't know what else is difficult. Like, but from what I'm seeing, it's really fun, and I can't wait to do to ride in Lost Ark. Okay, guys. Thank you for watching, and don't forget that I'm also streaming on Twitch. Quite like, let's say, every day, maybe at least five days per week. You can find me there playing Lost Ark and also other games. Right now I'm just leveling a Shadow Hunter on Lost Ark on the AU servers. So if you wanna join me, I'm gonna be very happy. Um, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, hit the bell for notifications, and see you on the next one, guys. Bye.